important in Westerly as well, in Springfield and in Boston and Miami, that these courses not cost anything for anybody in order to make them work. And so, yeah, in some cases, I mean, there were a couple courses that required materials, right? And so we asked for a bank to kick in $10 a family for the materials or something like that. So there are again ways that we can deal with that if we want to do this together. Other questions? Yes, exactly.
Who pays for transportation and childcare?
So again, the answer to that is we have to figure that out as a group, right? As a city, as a community. I can tell you what other communities have done. So childcare was provided by Head Start in Springfield, no cost. Part of their mission, part of their work, expanded their reach. Transportation, we worked with Peter Pan and the buses, and they again offered some free transportation. They gave bus passes to parents to go to courses. And we also had a couple of taxi companies that were willing to do that. So part of our mobilization strategy would be, we need to figure out how we make those, what's the best way to make those assets, that's what we need. But that's part of the work that we will do together. There's no predisposition around what those are. We also need to make sure we reach deep into non-English speaking communities. And that means we need good language translation, both in our marketing materials as well as in the way courses are taught. This has been a very positive experience in every place we've done. There's win-win involved here. There were a couple of people that wanted to teach courses once they heard of the success of the Parent Academy, and they wanted to teach them and get paid, or they wanted to teach them to market their wares. Right? So we had to come up, our curriculum and course development group, work group, came up with some language around what was appropriate. So if you're teaching, it's okay to talk about what you do, but it's not okay to bring in your array of things for sale. Other questions? Yeah.
Actually, how do you, maybe you can mention in Springfield, how you went about getting the parents? The parents, you target a certain group, you use referrals from the principals?
Yeah. So, there's a long answer to that question. I'll give you a couple of bullets, right? The most important part is how you get there. So all of you have relationships with parents. So one of the things Springfield started to do was they would have, the first semester that we did the Academy of Springfield, they offered 50 courses for parents. No cost, no money, 50. And some got 27 and some got 3. And so what they began to learn was we have to hone our process here. We can't just have courses and expect people to show up. Second, what they learned was when we offer a course at a school at 5 o'clock at night, we better have good signage, because parents would show up, if they didn't go to that, if their kids didn't go to that school, they might not know where to go. And if we didn't have the building set up, even the instructor would go. Sometimes they were locked out, right? So how we got parents was through the partnership. You already have relationships. We began to look at, this idea of events in neighborhoods. Springfield has now moved to partially courses on wheels. So what's that, right? So I gave you an example of the public housing community room. Well, there was a big issue with parents who couldn't show up for core evaluations in Springfield, and particularly from one part of town where the buses didn't run that often. And so one of the parents from the community housing agency said, you know what if we did it on site instead of asking parents to come? And so they had a workshop at the community housing center around special needs, core evaluations, what you need to do and how to do it. Very informative, took the fright out of it, made it more accessible to people. So there was no one way. They had billboards in Springfield, public radio, PSAs, cable TV. But this was all done by community partners working with the schools to make it happen. And there's lots of different strategies. We don't know what, you may know what will work best in Fall River. That's part of the work process. Hope that helps. Other questions? All right, we're going to put you to work now. Before we do that, so the nuts and bolts. We have an internal management team that has been working with us in Fall River from the schools, right? So if they could stand and introduce themselves with a loud voice.
Maureen Estes, at Pulic Middle School. Robert Alla, Director of Early Childhood and Parent Education.
Siobhan Ryan, Title I Director, and manage the 21st Century After-School programs.
Grace Mellon, Parent Liaison of Pulic Middle School.
Brad Buston, District Coordinator for Health and Phys Ed, Fall River Public Schools.
Okay, these folks have helped develop this mission, this vision statement. Fall River Parent Academy, by the way, see it says under construction? This is just a draft, right? All of you in this room will have an opportunity to wordsmith this to death if you want, right? The Fall River Parent Academy provides learning opportunities for parents and families so they can become active partners in their children's education and success. That's the vision as of this morning. But as you will see, this planning team, this citywide planning group, is going to drive the development of this academy. We'll learn from other places, but this is going to be yours. This will be what you want it to be, what you make it to be. We have, through MEG and the school system, we have infrastructure. We have staff who can do nuts and bolts, which doesn't take the community off the hook, but it allows all of us to work more efficiently. So I'm going to turn over to Kathy now, who's going to put you to work.
Actually, some of our internal team members are going to put you to work at your tables. Inside your packets are these 3 questions and a little sheet for you. And what we're hoping is that at your tables you'll take a couple minutes to answer these questions on your own, and then with one of our internal team partners at your table. So if you've got 2 at a table, maybe you can kind of spread yourselves out a little bit, folks. We'd like you to have a conversation. And the 3 questions that we're looking at here is, what do you want to see as a result of the Parent Academy here in Fall River? And the second question reflects a little bit of what Andy said before about self-interest, but it's the longer view on this question. And that's, why do you and or your organization, so if you're a teacher in the school, if you're a principal, if you're the head of the bank, what is it you want, why do you want to have your organization involved? Why do you want to do this work? Think about that self-interest question, because when it comes down to it a year from now, you want to see you still at the table. You want to see those self-interests being met. And the third question is a question that Eric asked earlier, and that is, what do you foresee as any potential challenges or barriers to doing this? And I know a lot of you are thinking, where's the money coming from? And you said, this is about our investment process. This is about thinking about what we already do and creating a system to make it work for all of our families. So what we want to think about then are, what are some of the resources that might be available to us to address these potential challenges and barriers. So as you're kind of thinking about this in conversation, think about things you're already doing or things that you would like to do, but you need another partner in order to do them better, or to get a better reach into the community with the parents and families that you'd like to work with. So think about that for a few minutes and jot down some notes on that, and then have a conversation at your table about some of these things that you're seeing. And then we're going to do a report out. We're going to give you some time to talk about this, because this is important for us to get your feedback. Okay?
We're not telling them what to do, we're asking them to work together and to hear their voice as well.
And truly listening, because that's kind of the point where, everyone in the school but the principal thought that one thing was the best thing for my child, and the principal's say is what happened in that case, and that bothered me so much. That.
Yeah, obviously.
For the people in the school and me thought something else was bad. So I felt like it really wasn't heard. That's a big thing with this beyond the big sale. It's truly that the parents' voice does matter.
Active to
support parents in becoming active participants in their child's learning.
Early part, so they can navigate these conversations.
And then gain some knowledge of
table here from our financial aid program. Because those are all the things that come down and have to say that fastest thing, that's way too high.